12 News journalist Bianca Bono was the only reporter in court today.
I'm calling to address Mr. Christopher Rupp's tweet. Mr. Christopher Rupp's tweet. Mr. Christopher Rupp's tweet. The intro where they mistakenly said there was no other reporter in the courtroom has been removed.
Today's video is an update on Austin Davis's case with an added bonus of getting to see mainstream media insult me as a reporter. They retracted after the boss called them out on Twitter, and then they cried to the judge because Street News Network refuses to give them any further footage in the future. The only reason they're even there is to tell a story that makes Austin look bad. The court proceeding basically hinges on one piece of evidence. Austin mistakenly wrote in his initial application that his events were open to the public.
Did Austin indicate whether his event was open to the public?
Yes,
And what did he indicate?
that it was.
That application was never completed, which caused this witness to decline the application, not deny it.
Why did you decline it?
It remained incomplete and he was unresponsive.
So in your own words, what's the difference between declining an application and an application being denied?
I cannot personally deny an application. I can only decline an incomplete application. The Special Events Task Force has to decline it.
The difference between a declined application and a denied application is that an application that has been declined can reapply at any time. An application that has been denied must wait to reapply. If Austin were allowed to reapply, he would correctly mark no on the question about being open to the public. And since his event is not open to the public, no permit is needed. Case closed. The defense also called Catherine Kubelis' edict of the Eris Foundation to show that Austin is not treated the same as other applicants.
Your permit process.
Yes.
And your permit. You received the same letter as Austin from the city in 2022?
Verbatim.
Say again?
Verbatim.
Verbatim.
It was
Okay.
exact, yes.
Did you stop your Tuesday event?
We did not, no.
And when you applied, did you stop your event for 60 days
No.
while the application was
Did
being
not,
processed?
was not asked to.
And so you did not stop your event at any
No.
time?
We have not missed a Tuesday in 8 years.
Now we wait until June 28th to see if Judge Kane decides to dismiss the charges or send the case to trial.
His request for a permit was denied, but that didn't stop him, leading to these criminal charges.
12 News journalist Bianca Bono was the only reporter in court today.
Not only was that personally insulting to me as the reporter that was there, it pissed the boss off pretty bad too. I attempted to go directly to 12 News headquarters to discuss it, but I was met by a security layer that made contacting anyone impossible. Shortly after I got home, to my surprise, I got a phone call.
I'm calling to address Mr. Christopher Rupp's tweet, which is why I wanted to speak with him. So I guess I just wanted to address and make sure that you guys were familiar then with the cameras in court policy under Rule 122 for the Arizona Judicial Branch. And if you want me just to send it to you, that's fine. But I think there was a misunderstanding regarding the number of recording devices and pool cameras based on his message. The only media company that the court has permission to video record is Street News Network. Don't ask us for footage again. You just burnt your bridge. You know, I hate to see something like that. If we get camera permission, we'd still share it with you, and I believe the court would direct you to also share it with anyone who requested it. So I just wanted to clear the air on that regard, and that's kind of all I've got.
Okay, I understand. Do you care to hear my side of it, or are you just calling to tell me?
I think I've got your side based on this tweet. If there's anything really specific you want to get into, I'm always happy to hear you out. Sure, go ahead.
She told me that she was going to be giving me credit, and not only did she not give me credit, the report itself quoted that no other reporters were present in the courtroom that day. I mean, I don't know why you would add that except to insult me as a reporter. as the reporter who took the time out of his day to go into that courtroom and make that physical recording to be able to share with you, I don't get a simple credit for that contribution. And not only that, you're going to say that I wasn't even there. I don't even exist. You know, that's pretty insulting, in my opinion, if you ask me.
I hate that you felt insulted. I really do. You know, and I know that was never her intention or ours. I think that, again, it just seems like a pure misunderstanding, and it was taken down from our, website, obviously, that comment.
So really quick, just to be clear, are you saying that because of Rule 121, I would be 122, excuse me, I would be legally obligated to share that footage with you, and you don't have to give me video credit? Is that what you're saying?
That is how I read it, and that is how we've understood it. That if a judge approves a request by more than one person to cover a proceeding, those persons must pool their resources. That's what's written on the cameras in courts under Arizona courts.gov Judicial Branch Rule 122. So my understanding is and has always been about pool feeds that there must pool their resources to limit the recording devices in a courtroom.
The part of the rule she doesn't want to read is the very next sentence. Those persons have the responsibility to settle their own disputes.
I'll chat with our folks about this. Again, we just don't credit pool camera because of the way that the rules are structured. So it could be worth more of a discussion here on this end. But, again, it's not.
Well, I'll tell you this, for what it's worth, obviously you're paying attention on X, on Twitter, and those things do have an impact, I understand. I think that's why he's so adamant and quick to go to Twitter when he has an issue,
So if he had just called, we also would have paid attention to a voicemail or email.
Well, in that regard, I actually physically went down to the 12 News station, and the guard gave me a little ticket with a phone number on it, which I called and I couldn't get a hold of anybody. It just keeps going straight to voicemail. I couldn't get a single ring out of it.
Okay. Was it 444-1212?
Yeah.
Yeah. We get those. We get those via voicemails typically, but I'll let them know that it doesn't even ring. That might be weird. We just have it's called Ring Central. I don't know. It's Screen's called. I'll just let you know that we have put in a camera request for this upcoming, and in the event that we get it, we'll share it with you, and no courtesy.
For the upcoming on Thursday?
I believe that's what I was told, that we put in a request.
Okay, well, I know that my motion was it filed at the beginning of his very first oral arguments, and I requested to be able to record the entirety of the case. So I'm pretty sure I'll be there, and I'll be, Judge Kane has been working with me. I'm sure he's just going to say, Jim Freedom's been doing it, and he's been doing a good job, so I feel like he's going to just let me keep doing it. So it would go a long way to get video credit put on that video for us to help us work with you in the future. And like I said, I know you pay attention to Twitter. It would go a long way towards getting Christopher to start tweeting how well you guys are to work with if you start doing things like that. You know what I mean? It could benefit you in that way. Just saying.
I hear you. All right.
The court has authorized that Mr. Freedom from Street News Network is authorized to videotape these proceedings. He had been designated the pool camera. We are going to now designate 12 News as the pool camera.
Instead of fighting with me to get my footage, 12 News pulled some strings and convinced the judge to make an exception for them. The reason this is relevant to Austin's case is because I believe there's a specific reason they are going out of their way to be there for this story, and that's to damage Austin's reputation. They interviewed two people that work closely on a regular basis with the city that's prosecuting him. They are blaming Austin for trash in the mountains nowhere near his picnic.
And they may clean up right after they feed. That doesn't mean that all the debris doesn't go elsewhere in the reserve, in the park.
You can't blame Austin for what other people do when they leave.
One of the big things that I hear from my neighbors a lot, especially on the camping, is if I was camping in the park, I would be kicked out or I would be fined. But yet we allow, the unsheltered population to do it. And I understand they don't have other places to go a lot of times, especially if the shelters are full. But I think the city has shown considerable restraint in that regard.
Now back to reality. I'll show you what actually happened in 2022 that caused Austin's homeless picnics to grow.
From 2015 to 2022, from 150 yards this side of the dam, there were 200 to 250 homeless people that lived in a massive forest from here all the way down the middle of the river bottom, all the way past the Priest Bridge, all the way down to the 143 bridge. And the 143 bridge is the border of Tempe. And that stopped in September 1st of 2022. The city of Tempe deemed it a no trespassing area and criminalized and arrested anybody that was found down here where people had been living down here for 10 to 15 years.
In fact, it was you, the city governments, that forced hundreds of homeless people out of their river bottom encampments and into the parks and downtown areas. If there has been an increase in trash or crime, it is directly related to the decisions you've made in this room. The person you're attempting to punish does more than give away food. He provides friendship, information, advice, and connections to resources. You don't care that he does these things, you only care that he does them without a permit. You want paid for his efforts. It's pathetic. If you feel so compelled, please reach out and help in any way you can. And as always, thanks for watching.